Welcome to the Laker Fast Break Spotlight on Lakerholics Weekend Edition. I am Jamie Sweet. My guests are Tom Wong. I'm retyping my name real quick. I just saw that it still says Joe Glassford, and so I'm changing that. My guests are Tom Wong, Michael Heinrich, and as always, I am Jamie Sweet. And so that's how that's going to go. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody got to see the U.S. women's national team take gold against Brazil in the Olympics, which are going pretty well for USA. I'd say pretty well. A couple upsets here and there, a couple of surprises. But in general, I've been pretty pleased with the Olympics. And of course, everybody's going to be talking about the upcoming matchup against France and Team USA. But I just want to take 1 second to acknowledge what I consider to be a pretty epic accomplishment in Olympic history at this moment, and that the U.S. women's team is on, with their victory over Australia yesterday, in which they won the gold medal again. They're on a 60-game winning streak. They have won 60 games in a row at the Olympics, and that is, no matter how you want to measure it, that is epic. That's just a phenomenal amount of execution. Obviously, good talent on the team, so on and so forth. I just think it's worth mentioning. That's just really, really, so congrats to the U.S. women's team in hoops. That's really spectacular. I don't know if you guys caught the game. I watched most of the game just because I wanted to, I just thought it was pretty cool. Even though they dominated, they crushed Australia.
The Lakers have been, the Olympics have been on for a bad time for me here in Hawaii.
Oh my! Yeah, no.
Half the games I would have to get up in the middle of the night to see.
Yeah. No. Are you taping anything or not really?
No, I don't have a taping thing on my TV.
Whatever's on is what's on.
Yes, have you guys had any problems watching the men's basketball games?
No.
Some of them were just like I said, middle of the night here. Or like
well,
4 or 5 in the morning.
What's funny is I got a message when I tried to watch it on a regular channel, NBC. I got a message that my TV box was not compatible. So I actually had to, in order to watch the game, I had to subscribe to
Peacock
for a month. $7.99. It was the only way I could get the goddamn game.
Isn't that convenient?
And you see everybody moving their programming now, where every programming deal has some streamers involved. It's
great. That's how we're going to be watching basketball starting 2 years from now.
We're doing it to baseball too. I go to watch a Yankee game and I got to go to to
Apple TV,
Prime or Apple TV or something, and it's.
Fortunately, Spectrum still has several years left on their Laker contract.
Yes, right. Once that's done,
Spectrum in Hawaii.
Yeah.
See, I don't get it because I'm in Bay Area. So
no, I get it. For whatever reason, Hawaii is part of the Lakers' territory. I have no idea why.
Well, we used to practice over there every.
Yeah, they do. They used to do preseason there.
Well, I understand that, but we're 3,000 miles away. Come on.
It's close. It's aren't you closer to Los Angeles than any other city? Or are you closer to San Francisco?
We're probably closer to LA.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
But here's the problem for me. I could get and Tom, there is a Spectrum app. That you can get
it's garbage.
$49, I think, a month.
Oh, really?
And I can't get that because I am in. Well, I'm paying like $130 some bucks a month for the Spectrum channel, right?
Right.
So I would rather have the 40 because I don't watch anything else.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I would rather get the $49 app.
Yeah.
Than pay 130 some bucks for something I don't use.
But I think for the app, you still need to have a subscription because it ties.
For $13 a month, you can get League Pass for one team.
I can't.
No,
really?
It's limited by
out.
It's limited by region.
I am in LA territory.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh yeah.
That's where it. Yeah, that's where it's like.
Yeah, it used to be that we. for a while, the league in the Bay Area would cancel us out whenever Sacramento played. We played the Kings. It was a home game. You couldn't watch it because it was their home. We're in their home territory, according to that. They fortunately changed that, so it's just the Warriors now that cancel us out.
Well, as riveting as each of our cable packages are, I think we're going to move it along briskly to a topic more akin to the subject matter of the day, which is Team USA versus France, and then we'll get into what we think the Olympics means for the Lakers going forward. Because after today, one way or another, the LeBron and AD's Olympics, all of Team USA.
It's LeBron's last Olympics.
This is LeBron's last Olympics. Maybe AD's. We'll see. He could be an elder statesman along what Katie and LeBron have done by the time LA rolls around, and he won't have to travel. So
he could be the version of the Celtics guy this year.
Tatum?
Yeah, could be the next Tatum.
Yeah, we could talk a little bit about the whole Jason Tatum firestorm too, I guess. I mean, his mom took to social media to ask, the universe why her son isn't playing. And I always think it's funny. Like, you're on a team full of Hall of Famers, and I don't think Jason Tatum's accomplishments as of this moment warrant an automatic inclusion to the Hall of Fame. He'll probably get there. It's a pretty easy group to join at this point. It's not like
he's a bad choice for the 12th man on the team.
Whatever. He wanted to go. He committed. You can't like. It's like booking a flight, getting on the plane, and then being like, well, all these things about it suck. Well, you could have chosen a different airline. You could have chosen not to. You had a choice at one point.
Yep.
You made the choice, and now you're griping about it. Although in his defense, he kind of griped about it once, and then from there he said things like, it's humbling, or, I'm just trying to be a good teammate. So I'm sure the coaching staff sat him down and was like, you chose to be here, guy. We're just doing the best job we can, and we can't play everybody, and you just need to understand that and deal. Like, you're not the defender that Drew Holiday and Derek White are. You're just not. You're just not. And you're not shooting efficiently right now. He's a one.
I wonder if they took Jaylen Brown, if that situation might have been different.
I don't think it would have been. I don't know that Jaylen Brown has a spot in front of KD.
He plays defense.
He plays defense a little better, but does he play better defense than White or Holiday? I don't think that he does.
No, but he plays better defense than Tatum.
Yeah, I think that because of their lack, both of them are undersized compared to LeBron and KD, and underweight compared to LeBron, and so LeBron can body up.
They're not starters. That's that simple. They're not starters on that team.
They're not starters on Team USA. And if this is something that you were thinking, like, this is going to be my mellow moment where I'm going to like drop all these buckets and like just no.
It's probably going to change the construction of the team next time, where they recognize that let's not have the coach be in an embarrassing situation and the superstar being in an embarrassing situation where he gets a DMP.
He wants it. Listen, Jason Tatum will happily talk about his gold medal till he's gray and old. Like, it's I have zero.
Well, I don't know. I'm not so sure about that, man.
What do you think, Michael?
He left the court early, and he didn't hang around.
Well, it's just it's nobody. During the even in the playoffs, NBA playoffs, when the games really count. Nobody has a 12-man rotation.
Right.
Nobody has a 12-man rotation.
Unless there's a bunch of fouls.
Yeah. He has to understand that. I mean, you get when the games count the most, you're going to go 8-9 guys.
Right, but he doesn't think of himself as a 12th guy. That's the problem.
Well, stack his career up against most everybody else, and
he's not the 12th man, but he's not. When you have to put 5 guys on the court to fill all of the needs of the team, he's not one of those 5 guys, because you have role players that you need to plug in, because that always what makes a team better. An all-star team is usually never as good as one where you have a coach put together the various players and you have people who fill those roles of role players.
Well, I think, first off, the all-star game is played for no reason. There's no –
yeah, right.
It's an embarrassment now. It's not even
right. It's just a show off. It's show off time, right? Let's see how much we can show off.
The only thing worse is the NFL's version.
I agree. Well, yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But with the Olympics, you have what is basically an all-star roster, right? Except that it's not even like up and coming guys who are just having a good season, like a Markkanen or a Levine, or guys who have only made the All-Star team once. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
but they put too many superstars. They knew they had to put guys on there like White and and Holiday to be able to have the kind of defense they needed in order to win.
No, agreed.
So they built the roster to have those type of role players who fill those needed roles that aren't the superstar roles.
And if you want to be honest, the people who are taking his quote unquote minutes are Devin Booker, who I think has just been fantastic. Like I was talking about this on the podcast.
Well, he's a guard too, it's not like
he's playing small forward on this team a lot. He's slotted at the 3 more often than not, I want to say. And he's taking any defensive side. He was guarding Jokic at times.
Like, the thing about Booker is he's a bulldog. Tatum's not a bulldog.
No. He's a Ferrari. He's a Ferrari. Yeah. If you want to drive fast and drive straight, he's great.
But the problem is you got KD. So what do you need? You don't need Tatum. KD does everything that Tatum does better.
Much better. Anyway, all right. So who are picking for? Michael, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on today's game against? What are the Lakers? Or I'm sorry. What does Team USA need to do to make sure France doesn't pull off an upset?
Well, I think number one, I think the last game was an Embiid game because of Joker.
Yep.
This is a AD game because of Wemby. AD has, I think, more quickness. He's much more mobile than Embiid is, and he can get out on Wemby. Wemby can knock down the 3. AD can get out there. So I think number one, this is an AD game as opposed to an Embiid game.
Should be.
It should be. I was just reading some articles on the French team, and it's not the guys that you would think would be carrying them. No. It's these ex-NBA guys that were washouts in the NBA that are huge for them right now.
Yeah.
So you
and Wemby hasn't been great either.
He hasn't been great
on defense.
Yeah. So you have to. I think you got to go into this game with no overconfidence whatsoever. I think they've suffered from that a little bit at different times throughout the whole run. Especially, that one Sudan game, so you can't go you got to go into this and you have to be looking at, these others, and understand that these guys, they may not be NBA stars, but they are damn good players, and that's what's the whole international game. I think part of the reason why everybody's catching up with the U.S. is international players are much more fundamentally sound than American players are. And I think you see that, in competitions like this.
They start off younger and they don't play AAU ball.
Yeah.
AAU ball takes a hit every time the Olympics come around, I feel like. Every time the Olympics come around, I think, man, if we had a few guys that just went to big man camp as opposed to AAU ball, I think that we'd be in a lot. I'm serious. I think we'd be in a lot better position because you'd have more than 2 centers, and let's be honest. Like if Embiid decides to play for Cameroon next season, then you're down. And AD isn't like AD come 2028. Who's the next great American center? Cat, right?
No, not Cat.
Who else? Who else though? Who else? Mitchell Robinson?
No.
You can't say Vukovic. He's not going to
play. No, he's probably a forward.
But
in 4 years, maybe Klingand. In 4 years, maybe Klingand.
Well, it's funny when you look at the draft this year, and look at the guys that went at the top of the draft. Those 2 French guys. Neither one of them averaged. They were like Bronny James resumes, man.
Yeah, no, not impressive.
Not impressive, and yet you look at the guys that you'd think that it'd be Gobert and Wemby would be totally dominating,
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a rout. I think the Americans are going to come in and they're going to just stomp them right from the go.
I think the opposite. I think France, because of the crowd, is going to be fired up. And
Well, the referees are the referees, because we've seen that throughout these Olympics, that the French basically have a home court advantage.
yeah, they're on their home court all the time. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's gonna. I think they're gonna. I think France. I think it'll be similar to the Serbian game, where like Serbia came out and it was like like U.S. got down 17, and they just never lost composure, and they just chipped away, and they just kept playing hard, and
they shot lights out until crunch time.
Serbia, yeah, no, all the guys who were hitting Bogdanovic and Jokic put up a donut from the 3-point line.
I love seeing LeBron give Bogdanovic a hug and a couple of whispers at the end of the game.
Yeah, and he did not look like a happy camper either. Bogdanovic didn't. But listen, there's no secret. You want to play fast and you want to get out to a good start, and then you just got to do your best to hold the U.S. off. Like that's the recipe for potential success. Right. So. That's my 2 bits. Tom, you want to add anything to all that, or? I
love the way that the fourth quarter came about, and we saw all of these former NBA MVPs one at a time pick their moments and make totally clutch plays. I mean, LeBron, Steph, KD, even Embiid. Yep. That was. We hadn't seen much from Steph in the whole thing. We hadn't seen anything from Embiid, and yet they were both critical players down the stretch, and KD too.
Yeah,
LeBron orchestrated and choreographed that entire fourth quarter comeback.
What's funny to me? What's funny to me is everybody's saying this is LeBron's last Olympics. Really?
Well,
he might be in the
right.
I stopped counting. There came a time when I stopped questioning Kobe Bryant's shot selection. I just was like, I'm not qualified, right? I'm not qualified to critique his shot selection. He has made me understand
there is no bad shot when it's
for him. There is no bad shot. I mean, if is it a high quality shot or was there a better play in front of him? Maybe, but for me to be like, oh, that's a bad shot, I'm not qualified. And same with LeBron, like deciding when to stop playing. Like he'll know. The rest of us don't get a say.
I mean, he's the best player, and he's the best player on Team USA.
He dropped a triple double without trying. Like it didn't look like he tried, and he had 16, 10, and 12, or 12.
Just the way he's running up and down the court, he's still like one of the fastest players. He's closing
out better on shooters than we've ever seen him do as a Laker. And I said this after the game, like there's days in between games. It's a 7-8 game season, 10 game season at the most, right. I think.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe he could.
There's a reason they can give this energy.
44 years old, huh? 44-year-old LeBron.
If you want to see NBA players play this hard all the time, then you have to cut the season down by like 20 games, maybe more. And
it's not just the time in between games for LeBron too. It's the minutes are down too because he doesn't have to play as heavy a minutes as he does.
And what's nice is that I'd love to see them replicate that on the Lakers with him playing the kind of defense he did in those fewer minutes. Lengthen his career out, maybe even a few more years.
No.
Yeah, what's been the most exciting thing for me about the whole, it's not just LeBron being the best, he has been the best player, but AD's right up there too.
Yeah.
The two of them have been probably
top five player, top 5 superstars in the league.
Yeah, have been really impactful. He's been, in his own way, he's been as impactful as LeBron, for the most part.
Yeah. He's the biggest. I guess he and Joker are the biggest threats for the Olympics MVP. Do they formally do an MVP?
No. I don't know.
No.
Or is that just going to be?
I mean, whatever. No, there's no individual awards in team sports.
It's kind of funny to me too. Everybody wants to move AD to the 4, right? It's always AD's going to the 4. He's playing alongside. He's playing alongside Bam, one of the best defensive centers in the league, and Bam is playing the 4.
Right. Yeah. Doesn't matter who plays 4 or 5, but he needs a second big man.
He could use a second big man, but it's going to be it's going to be a forward. It'll be a power forward before it'll be another center.
It's mostly LeBron at this point too. Like, let's be honest. Like, LeBron's going to play the 4, Rui or Vando is going to play the 3, and that's just how it's going to be. Like,
unless they get a second big, I think you're right there that is how it's going to go.
Yeah,
well, I think it's more important to find a solid backup than a guy to play. As I said, that can maybe play some minutes with him, because last year, after injuries, the biggest problem we had was when AD was off the court.
Yeah,
we got killed whenever he rested. We got killed.
Yeah.
So that I think it should be the primary goal moving forward, is at some point finding a backup center that can hold the fort while he rests.
Right.
You know,
I'm not going to disagree with that. I think that, once the Olympics finish, I kind of expect there to be another small flurry of activities. There's still a lot of teams that either don't have a full roster or have, some money that they can spend. There's not a lot of big names out there. And the fact that guys like Gary Trent Jr., Tyus Jones took the vet minimum doesn't make me think that there's a lot of big money coming down the pike. Thank you for pointing out the other day that once Lauri Markkanen signed his contract, Michael, that they added money to next season's deal, which put them back over the NBA minimum salary cap floor. And we'll do a show on that maybe next week. Let's focus on the Olympics and Team USA a little more today. But we were not quite correct last week when we were talking about the NBA salary cap. There's more penalties involved, and it's a little bit more. If you don't pay enough money, or rather, if you don't spend enough money, it's a little more intense than maybe we led you on to believe last week. So at some point we'll talk about that, because we're definitely approaching the time of the summer when there's literally nothing else to talk about but the minutia of the CBA.
I think at some point we should have a just for a little different thing. I think one of our shows should be a half glass full show, because it's been nothing but how terrible things are. We're a pretty good team. Let's talk a little bit about we're not a bad team.
Kind of like how the Democrats have redefined what they're looking for in the future.
We've got a few. We've got a pretty decent team. I would like to highlight that at some point.
To bring some joy back to the podcast.
I'll do my best, Michael. But I'm a dyed in the wool realist. And I will say It's not the team that I'm worried about. It's not the team. That I'm worried about. It's the decision makers behind the decision making. And I'm curious to see how Coach Reddick does as a rookie head coach, given the situation that he's in. All right, Richard has a really good question. Guys, I've been paying attention to LeBron and AD's minutes, and we're worried about them being tired. Sure. But that's going to go for everybody who's playing in Team USA except Jason Tatum, maybe.
He's going to be fresh.
But he's still working out. Everybody's going to be working out. Everybody, what are they going to be? They're on their vacation right now. Like, they're playing basketball on vacation. I'm not too worried about it. If anything, I kind of hope that it lets AD come into next season
in shape,
in a little more of a groove offensively. Like, he always starts off a little rough offensively. His defense is never quite like, we're not ever talking about AD on the defensive end. AD on the defensive end has great focus, puts forth great effort. And it's rare that he doesn't do that. That's usually when he's sick or injured, right? So, you give him a pass.
They both look so damn good right now.
Well, and LeBron is. Yeah,
health wise, and energy wise.
No, I agree.
And AD actually said that he thinks that this is going to get him into better shape going into the season.
Yeah.
So, and LeBron came into camp. I mean, everybody raving. I mean, he listened to the comments made by his coach and other people that he came into camp in probably the best shape of anybody on the team.
That doesn't surprise me.
40 years old, man.
He has to.
Well, I think one of the things is these guys work out all year long. They might take a couple of weeks off, little vacation,
or a couple of months in some cases.
Well, depending on if you want to be really good or not.
Yeah,
but these guys, they're work, So and with the games as spread out as they are, I don't know if they're going to be that much more fatigued, because the preseason doesn't start for a couple more months.
Right.
Yeah.
They may be, I would think that they're going to come into camp in better shape because of the Olympics.
Yeah. I'm more worried about a big injury in the last game than I am about them not being in shape.
Yeah, we just got to get by today without anybody getting hurt, man.
Exactly.
Great. All right. That's. I feel like we've pretty much talked as much as we can about Team USA. Everybody's. I feel like it's the most ungracious coaching job you can get because of the superstar situation. Where, do you know what I mean? Like, Steve Kerr is like, I thought done to be honest, like a really great job coaching. I think he's like found the matchups that work in specific games, and like, I'm sorry, Tatum clan, but boohoo. Like, and if it were LeBron and AD, I would feel the same way. I wouldn't be like, oh, this is the most unfair Olympics I've ever seen upon my many years on this planet. I'd be like, oh, well, AD's not the matchup guy. Like,
it's just okay because it's a Celtic, man. Come on, let's be honest.
Oh, well, for us, yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey,
Jason, I'm sorry, man. Tough luck.
This is not an all-star. This is not an all-star showcase.
No,
this is these are real games.
They're trying to win games. Exactly, Michael.
We really didn't need you, man. But
anyway,
good job on the bench, Rudy.
That's right. I mean, Rudy Gobert's taking his benching just fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, I just had a great idea for the next all-star game. Instead of having the way it is, have an all-star team, and then they're going to play the Harlem Globetrotters versus the NBA All-Stars.
The All-Stars used to play the rookies or something like that.
A lot of guys, because that's what the All-Star game has become.
That's putting it nicely. It's bad. The only reason I tuned in last season was to see the Caitlin Clark Steph Curry shootout. Literally the only reason I tuned in.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any other part of the game. I didn't watch the skills.
I guess they didn't need Caitlin in order to win, huh?
Oh, Team USA. It's not about whether they needed Caitlin to win or not. It's the fact that she and Angel Reese are better than some of the other players on that team.
Well, and their appearance would also help women's basketball in general.
And it will. That part, that's coming, and that's been a long time coming. And I've been paying attention to the WNBA for a very long time. Like, I basically tuned right into it as soon as the NBA season is over. I've watched a lot of women's basketball too, and it's I think it's great. I think that, to be honest, I think like the European guys, the women's teams are always more fundamentally sound than the men's teams. Like, they have better footwork.
I watch the NBA. That's not they're the WNBA. They're on Spectrum also.
Yeah,
and so I catch some of the games.
Yeah.
And if you want to see basketball the way it's supposed to be played, watch the women's game, because they don't rely on athleticism. They rely on skills.
Well, but it's changing a little though. Caitlin Clark is going to be a trigger for a whole lot of young women basketball.
And Angel Reese. Angel Reese is
too. Although Angel Reese, man, I tell you, if the girl could shoot, Jesus Christ, she'd be better.
She will. Don't worry. All right. So I love this quote by Richard. Good news. I seen Palinka at Disneyland. He's working on trades. So I'm assuming that means we're trading D'Lo for Goofy and Paluto. All I'm going to say is I hope they can defend and shoot. All right.
We're talking about that 12th spot on the Olympic team. They could actually go do what they used to do, is bring in the best college player for that 12th spot.
It should have been Cooper Flag. It should have just been Cooper Flag.
And then if he sits, he's just happy to be there.
Right. He's just soaking up. He's working out with Team USA.
Get him acclimated to playing against tougher competition. Get a little practice would be great for him and so forth.
Remember that AD was his first. He was the rookie.
Yep.
There's 2 or 3 spots, probably a couple of spots on the team should be given to young guys like that.
I'm going to be honest. I think they had Tatum on the team as LeBron is old insurance. I think you need to build around the idea that you just have to respect LeBron's decision when it comes to his playing time, right? And it's not Steve Kerr's decision, let's be honest. It's LeBron's decision on his playing time. I'm sure that they work together on something like, hey, you're going to start. We'd like to play you in the range of 20, 25 minutes. and that's the game plan, right? And if it goes that way, it goes that way. And if it goes out the window a little bit, it goes out the window a little bit. But we're going to have conversations about it. I think that if LeBron and if KD hadn't come back from his calf injury, and this is what I'm saying. Like, you agreed to be the 12th man on a roster full of Hall of Famers, and
nobody got injured.
Or when KD got injured, he came back and he was better than you were, and so that's no shit.
You're an unused insurance policy there, Tatum.
You're better. You made the team over your co-teammate Jaylen Brown. You made the team over Shea. SGA's playing for Canada, but there's other guys who could have been on the team that you got beat out for. So if you don't see that as an honor, I have a problem with that. Like, it's not about you.
Well, there's also the experience of going to the Olympics. Going to the Olympics in France. I mean, that's pretty special.
Okay, thank you for the super chat, Richard. Gerald appreciates it. He uses all of those super chat monies to buy himself a better Wi-Fi router. I would have done this 2 years ago. I would have, as soon as Bob Myers, the day that Bob Myers would say yes to being the Lakers GM would be the day that I would have hired him, and money would not really have been an object for me. I think that one of our biggest issues is that there doesn't, to me, seem to be a focused and cohesive top-down direction that the team is building in or going in or focused on, like achieving. I mean, they say all sorts of nice things. I'm going to tell you what we're going to hear on Media Day right now. We think we had a great summer. We're really excited about, Connect and Bronny. We're excited to see what the continuity and the chemistry brings in. And as always, we're focused on winning a championship and bringing another winner to Los Angeles. And that is that is exactly what Rob Pelinka will say. And then he'll add some flowery adjectives and adverbs in there to make it sound different than it sounded the last 4 years that he's done it.
Don't forget Laker exceptionalism. He has to bring that up every 3 or 4 sentences.
Yeah, you're right.
And building for the future, because of the new CBA.
And so I just feel like that's to me that's the biggest issue, is that, like, I don't
get off your ass, Pelinka, and make a trade, man. That's
not even that. I don't even say that. Like, trades are but one part of it, right? Like, trades are just one part of it. Like, we've gone from, let's look at the coaching choices. We've gone from, his first hire was Frank Vogel. So we went with an establishment coach who hadn't won before, but who was going to bring a defensive mentality and who was well organized and was a very fair coach. And you got the sense that Byron Scott and Luke Walton weren't that they were having problems communicating with veterans because of their status as young coaches. Then when they fired Frank Vogel for no reason whatsoever, because of injuries to key players after the bubble, then you hire Darvin Ham, who's supposed to be our coach of the future, right? And we're focused on, his communication and his ability to, bridge the gap between. Then that doesn't work. So then we bring in JJ Redick, who has even less experience, and whose coaching vision is, it's new, and we're going to see what he does.
No, you're wrong. You brought in JJ Redick, who is a coach who has a modern philosophy toward a 3-point game.
Does he?
And basically, that's a dramatic change in the entire history of the Lakers.
Okay, well, sure. We'll see. I think I want to say that the only reason I'll tell you why I'm doubtful, Tom, is because that's exactly what they said about Darvin Ham in his press conference.
But there was no. But he was an assistant coach who never showed that he had the ability or the vision to be a head coach.
And that's exactly what they said at Luke Walton's press conference. So I'm not saying that
it's
that's
just
not
constant negativity that
it's not negativity.
Listen, I don't disagree with you on Jeannie Buss. I don't disagree with you on Rob Pelinka. I wish we had a new owner. I wish we had a new general manager.
Yeah.
But I think we have the best opportunity that we have had to get a great head coach in the 20 years that I've been watching the Lakers. The last 20 years, this is the best shot we've had since Phil Jackson.
Well, for me, and JJ's offense, it's going to boil down to, can you get LeBron playing a little different way? Because both Ham, everybody has fallen back on LeBron ball.
Yep.
This is what he does. This is the way he plays.
Everybody keeps planning and thinking that he's too old, so we got to do something different. And then LeBron comes on and shows that he's not too old.
Yeah, but the problem with LeBron ball is he holds the ball. He makes good decisions and everything, but you don't see the kind of ball movement you see on other squads because we're playing LeBron ball.
This is what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing that. I think JJ has every opportunity to be the coach that you say he can be, Tom. I'm not trying to say that he won't be that coach. What I'm saying is that to say like that's how it's going to be is putting the cart way before the horse, because we haven't seen.
The point is that at least what they've done this time is get somebody who is going to change things.
We hope. We think.
I mean, philosophically, it's a big different change because he's an offensive-oriented guy, and he's a guy who starts off by saying LeBron James is going to shoot more threes, and we're going to shoot more threes. And we've never had a coach that he said, everybody can sit there and see the problem. You have the 8th best shooting team from three-point land, and you take the 29th most threes.
I'm just saying that they said all of these things.
You have 2 superstars who need spacing, and you go and bring in guys who can't space.
Well, has anybody heard this? We're going to bring in Dennis Schroeder to take some of the load off of LeBron. We're going to bring in Russell Westbrook to take some of the load off of LeBron. We've been trying
to take the load off him every year.
It never happens. And that's going to be the key. Will he allow them to take the load off of him?
I'm not even sure that we should. Well, I like the idea of having 5 guys.
Tom, if you want more 3-point shots, you're going to have to.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the reason we're not going to have the kind of out drive in, kick the ball at offense that a lot of teams rely and succeed with is because we don't have a guy that can drive the ball in and kick it out very well. We don't have that kind of a point guard. Reeves tries, but he's not quite quick enough. He's not a good enough passer.
He dribbles into trouble too often.
Yeah, his react skills are not there yet. Maybe he'll get there. Maybe we'll see a step forward in that next season. We'll see. But D'Lo doesn't.
The problem is replacing D'Lo, because D'Lo is the one guy who can do what you're saying. He's the one guy who can
D'Lo does not collapse the defense. D'Angelo Russell does not collapse the defense when he drives into the paint. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a guy who, when he makes a move to get the ball into the paint, 2 or 3 defenders sag off the corners, sag off the 3-point shooters to come and help corral the rebound or stop the drive. D'Angelo Russell is not that player. Austin Reeves is not that player. LeBron James, when he wants to be, on occasion, can be that player. But even that, people are like, we're going to focus on the drive and we're going to let you shoot the 3 ball. And this is the problem. Like, it's not going to change with the coach, because the players we have aren't capable of running the offense that I think you believe they're going to run.
Well, we need to make a trade. We need to make a trade. We have too many one-way players, and we need 2-way players.
Yeah, but 2-way players are extremely expensive.
Yeah, nobody's trading. Nobody's trading no 2-way players for Rui Hachimura.
No, but you don't need to have a 2-way superstar. You don't need to have a 2-way star. There are some excellent 2-way players out there who would be improvements from us that don't have big names.
We'll see. I mean, so far it's been all quiet on that front. My point is this: I think that we're going to have. I think it would be wiser. Let me phrase it this way: I think it would be wiser to hope for internal growth, and to hope to see Reeves maybe get a little bit better at read react, maybe get a little bit better with his decision making, taking the ball into the paint, things like that. Simple things, right? Correctable things. Watch enough tape. Work on your handle. And I'd like to see Vando just stay healthy, and I'd like to see Rui be a little more aggressive on the block. I think that Rui on the block is an underused tool. Ham underused it. I don't want to see JJ underuse it. And these are things that, this is my problem with coaches who are like, it's my system. I'm like, yeah, but your system, you're not the one playing the game. One of the great things about great coaches, Pop was like this, is like the great coaches are like, you need to defend to the best of your ability, and then we will work an offense out that makes it work for what you all can do together.
Yeah, look at Phil Jackson.
Exactly.
His offense, right? How often did they actually play his offense? It was always about what he wanted to do, but he let the guys, the talent that he had, dictate how they played. the triangle, it was his deal, but they hardly ever played the triangle, especially the second time around. You know, that last
think
couple
that, Michael, do you think that what we're talking about really here is, do you want to play like the Warriors play, or do you want to play like the old Lakers play? Because there was a lot of isolation basketball involved when you got Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, and when you got LeBron James and even Anthony Davis. There's a lot of one-on-one basketball, and I mean, do we want a point guard who's got 15 assists, or do we want 5 guys who get 4 assists on a team? Do you want a team that is predictable because this guy's got the ball in his hands all the time, and you know what's going to happen? Or do you want a team that's anybody on the team could kill you at any particular moment in time?
I think you want a little bit of both.
That's probably the right answer in most cases, because
offensively we have that. Offensively, we already have that.
Well, I don't. I think that we're still a little. What we need to see is we still basically are looking at playing 2- and 3-man basketball most of the time, rather than 4- or 5-man basketball.
I think that's probably realistic. I think that's my question. That comes back to like my questioning, like, what is it exactly going to look like in a JJ Redick offense? Because we have
what's going to happen off of the ball? What's going to happen off the ball to attract attention and create other opportunities?
Exactly.
So that you've got versatility and unpredictability of your offense.
One of the reasons I was high on getting a passing big man. That's why I like the idea of getting Kelly Olynyk, who's a pretty decent passing.
Yeah. He would be dynamite in our offense.
He would be dynamite in our offense. I don't see us prying him away for Toronto for unless we kind of overpay. And depending on the players that go out, I could be in favor of that. But like, that's a February deal, I feel like, at best. Richard's question is, how many pieces are we away from realistically contending? I think we can realistically contend right now. Tom says 2. What do you think, Michael?
I think we can. And here's my reasoning on this: is we've got a lot of young guys that haven't even reached their prime years yet.
Yeah.
Austin's improved every single year. Rui's improved since he's got here. Vando. All of these guys, I think, have another step in them, maybe 2 steps in them.
Well, you didn't even get Vando and Gabe last year, so you don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. That's another reason why I'm kind of in favor of just rolling it back for a while.
Well, I almost I hate not making a trade, but I almost wish that we'd wait till February to make the trade, simply because I'd like to see what D'Lo could do with JJ.
I want to see what everybody can do with JJ.
Yeah. Except we do need a goddamn center, man. We need a backup center who can.
Well, we got Hayes. We got Hayes right now.
He can't protect the rim. That's the problem. He's great. I'm not
here to disagree with that. I'm just saying that's who's on the team right now. That's who you're dealing with. Like, let's say,
No, but there are guys available that aren't big moves that could give us a backup center who could actually protect the rim and block a few shots.
And we were talking earlier about having a second big playing with AD. We kind of have him if he can learn to shoot again.
Yeah, I know.
Christian Wood was better defensively than anybody.
Really lost his shot last year. He was horrible.
He was better than advertised on defense. His attitude was great, but he forgot how to shoot.
Yeah.
And that's what he came. That's his calling card, was his offense.
Because
the guy can rebound. He rebounded well for us.
Yeah.
If he could just get his shot back, you can play 2 bigs.
The problem with that is that, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. What I'm saying is that when he was a better shooter, it's because he was playing almost 30 minutes a game. He's not going to play 30 minutes a game. There's no world where he plays 30 minutes a game on this Los Angeles Laker team unless LeBron and AD get hurt.
He just caught the Laker virus. All of these shooters from other teams that come to the Lakers, what happens to them?
Well, I think partially
they don't find their shot again until they leave the Lakers.
But that's usually because it's probably because they go somewhere and they get a bigger role, right? And they don't get yanked.
Well, they get a role, or they go to a team that runs plays for them.
I mean, Danny Green had the same role after he left the Lakers.
Yeah,
boosted his percentage by 60 points.
Yeah, I know. No, you're not wrong. All right.
Some of it is just the fact that guys sometimes they're hot and sometimes they're cold.
I don't think we're going to be getting Jordan Clarkson next season. I don't think the Lakers are going to pony up that much for specific, not for a guy like that, but just specifically for Jordan Clarkson. You're going to have to trade Hachimura. You're going to have to give up at least a draft pick or two. I don't think I love Jordan Clarkson. I've been a big Jordan Clarkson fan pretty much from day one. I just don't think you're not getting enough back for a first-round draft pick. I don't know that he's going to transform the bench.
We have bigger needs.
And again,
yeah,
with Clarkson, and again, this team, everybody keeps focusing on the offensive end on this team.
Yeah.
We were a good offensive team.
We were good enough.
Defense was our issue, and bringing in Clarkson isn't going to help that. He's not a defender.
No, but the offensive problems start. The big problem that we have offensively is how do you replace D'Lo?
Well, so far we don't have to replace D'Lo.
We don't have to right now.
Yeah, I know, but if we know the first trade is going to go on, it's probably going to be between the Lakers and the Raptors or the Lakers and the Nets, and it's probably going to include D'Lo.
I think
there's nobody on either one of those two teams other than maybe Dennis Schroeder who could come back and fill a role.
And here's another thing I've been thinking about. We were hearing about that, D'Lo trade, but that was when there was guys on the market that we could pick up and plug in. Those guys are gone, and the Lakers aren't really talking to anybody right now. So, if you're going to trade D'Lo, you almost have to trade him for a guard, a point guard. You cannot trade him for a wing. Because we don't have.
Unless you, what I think, and I think you agree with me, futilely decide that you can turn Reeves into a point guard, or you bring back a couple of guys like Olynyk and another wing who are distributors who can basically give you 4 or 5 guys who can average 3 assists a piece. The other thing you can do is if thinking outside the box, which everybody knows that I love to do. I was just struck the other day when somebody said, "You watch what's happening in the Olympics, and it's LeBron James as a point guard that's basically
I know
making a difference."
Who did?
And then I look and say, when did LeBron? You go to Basketball Reference and you look at LeBron's record, and when did he play point guard?
Under Frank
Really play point guard. He played it his rookie year 73% of the time, and then only 2 other years did he play point guard. The first time since his rookie year was 2019 and 20.
Yep, I know.
You know something about that year? Yeah. We won a goddamn championship that year.
He had a great season.
And the next year, he had his second most minutes or percentages playing at point guard. And if 80 hadn't got hurt that year, we would have won that year.
I agree.
And
so why not make LeBron? Why not reverse it and tell LeBron?
Because we had two shooting. Tom, we had two-way tough guards in Green and KCP.
Yep.
That's why it worked.
And we
don't have those two-way guards now. We
had double rim protection so that James could basically play and defend a guard.
Yeah, no, I know. They broke the team up.
So I mean, maybe the answer really is, why don't you just let LeBron have the ball? Let him play point guard.
He had 8 assists a game last year.
Yeah,
already. He had the ball.
He's the best guy. He's the best point guard we got.
No, he has the ball. It's not about whether or not LeBron. This is what I'm saying, right? Like, and Michael made this point really well earlier. When you have LeBron James on the team, it's like when you have Kobe Bryant. It's like when you have Michael Jordan. It's like when you have one of those guys. You can say all the nice things you want about, well, we're going to do this, and that. And then when the game starts, who's got the ball? Right. That guy. Yeah. Whoever that guy is, it's that guy. And that's how it goes. You can all the platitudes and lofty proclamations, you can spout it all summer, all training camp. When the jump goes up, the ball goes up and they tip it to somebody, it's going to end up in the guy's hands who's the best player on your team, as it should. One of the few teams that doesn't play like that is the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry, and that's because he's even more lethal off screens and movement than he is with the ball in his hands because they're more.
I think my 3-point aspirations are a little bit more modest than Tom's. I would like to see us get to the middle of the pack in attempts. 15th in the league.
I don't think the Lakers should.
I'd like to see us be top 10 in attempts.
I would like us to see.
We need to.
I think we need to shoot no more than 30 a game. I cap out at 30.
Forget it. 30 is 29th in the league.
Then that's 29th.
That's 29th in the league.
Then that's 29th in the league. Because
that means you're going to end up in
35 is
29th in the league.
Add five threes a game.
I'm not adding 5 threes a game. And I'll tell you why. Because we're better scoring the ball at the rim.
You're not going to see that because, it's the chicken and the egg thing, man.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Because you sit there and think, all you got to do is just pound the inside and you'll open up all your guys outside for 3-point shots.
That's not what I'm saying.
The rim. No. Just keep attacking the rim and the streets will open up. That's not how it works today. That's how it used to work. Today it works. You put guys outside who shoot the threes like crazy and make them, and that pulls everybody out of the key. And that's when you can drive the basket.
I think
that's how you win today, not by going to the basket and then thinking you're going to get open threes on the outside because you can't shoot enough threes in that situation. And you end up losing 30 points a game that you got to overcome because your 3-point shooting is having you a huge negative differential.
Or your points in the paint is dominant and your fouls are dominant because your free throws are dominant because you're putting more pressure on the defense than 3-point shooters do.
I mean,
even if you do what Michael says and get up to the middle of the league, you will cut that 10-point deficit to 5 points per game deficit, and you'll end up with a 5-point plus on your net because you'll still be able to get your free throws and your made free throws and your points in the paint.
We'll see. I don't know.
You got to shoot more threes, and your coach has said we are going to shoot more threes.
Well, they always say that, so I'm not putting.
No, they don't always say that.
Would you like me to post the clips of each coach from the last?
Yeah, you post whatever clips you can say. Your coaches want to shoot 30 a game just like you. You're the Byron. Jesus.
Darvin said that AD was going to shoot 5 a game.
Yeah, Darvin said he wanted AD. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't. Everybody.
Darvin never runs plays to shoot threes. He never had an idea that that's a way you win the game. And it's been one of the big fallacies of the Lakers front office and the coaching staff is that they have not embraced the 3-point revolution.
Yeah, but Jamie's point, Tom, is that they always say they're going to.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, let me put it this way then. JJ Redick is not going to just say that they're going to do it. They are going to shoot at least 35 threes a game.
And that's what we're going to find out when the season starts. At any rate, I think we've probably gotten to the end of the show here because I don't know that we've got anything more to add to anything substantive. I mean, a lot of this I think will be substantive in about 2 months when we start to get into camp and we start to see some preseason games. I'm excited about that. It's going to be once the Olympics is over today. It's going to be a little bit boring for 2 months, and so we might have to do some shows from the beach or I don't know how close.
WNBA.
The WNBA, yeah, that's right. The WNBA picks right back up in like a week, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
But I'd like to thank my guests, Michael H. and Laker Tom. You can come and have this vibrant discussion with us anytime at Lakerholics.com. It's not on video. It's with the typed words like old school. But it's fun and vibrant, and we haven't been doing too much there because there hasn't been too much to talk about. But I think that, like I said, once we get back from the Olympics, I kind of expect there to be a little bit more of a flurry before everybody takes off for the rest of the summer and we see them start to trickle back in around training camp.
When does training camp start? Did they announce the date yet?
I want to say it starts at the end of September.
Maybe the very beginning of October.
No, more like October. Yeah. It's going to be like mid-October. And then the first game of the season is like mid-November, I want to say, or early November. It's around my birthday. It's always around my birthday.
No, end of October they've cut down the preseason now. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah, so they're starting the regular season a week or so earlier.
Yeah, there's like only like 4 or 5 preseason games even.
Yeah, it used to be like 10 or 12, and now it's down to like 4 or 5. I always forget that. I'm always stuck in the 80s. So thank you, Michael. Yeah, I mean, regardless, though, I mean, you're going to see a rough blueprint of what the kind of style that they're going to play, and my hope is for it to be more modern. But you're not going to convince me just by yelling at me on the camera. I'm going to have to see it happen on the court. So that's just how I roll. That's how I roll. That's what you think. That's wonderful and phenomenal.
There's a giant planet, the asteroid that's going to hit the Earth in 20 minutes. Jamie will agree that it's going to happen in 20 minutes.
That's about right. Yeah. That's about right.
Got to see it before it happens. I
can
see it now. The sky is crashing.
This is why you should never ever ask me about why I don't believe in religion, because it's going to be very well. There's nothing to believe in.
You know, the thing about it is I get Jamie's point. I mean, we hear the same song and dance in every single time you get a new coach.
Judge the singer and the dance and the quality of the song.
They're always going to tell you this. They're always going to tell you that. And then it's going to be somewhere, hopefully, in this case, closer to what he's saying than what it's been.
That would be good for James. Because we have not had a coach come in and say that we were going to embrace the three-point revolution the way that JJ Redick has done.
He just has to convince the players to do it.
Well, or get the right players and set up the right offense so that we have a better chance.
We got the right players. We just need the right offense.
I think we still need to make some changes in players. I think there's a couple. We do need to get a big man to back up AD who can protect the rim.
I agree.
And it would always help to get. We have to solve the point guard problem. That's the other major problem. You know, if we don't have D'Lo, what do we do?
We have D'Lo.
We have D'Lo. So
we've got till February to figure it out. We got till February to figure it out.
Yeah.
I hope so. I just hope we don't go with Reeves as our point guard for the first half of the season.
I really don't see
I don't see a trade coming now for a long time.
The only thing I could see is if somebody. The only thing I could see is if moving one of the three vet minimum guys. I kind of don't include Hayes. I just assume that because Hayes picked up his option, and I think he actually kind of overplayed a vet minimum deal, to be honest, last season. I was surprised he opted in. Of all of them, he was the only one that surprised me mildly. I think that they're just going to roll. If they can move Cam or Wood into somebody's cap space for no more than 1 second rounder, I think they would do that. If teams are asking for 2, that's just absurd to me. And I think Rob's not right not to make that kind of a deal. That's just like throwing.
It costs Denver 3 picks.
Yeah, I know. That's just absurd. That's absurd to me. Like you're just throwing draft assets away at that point. Like better to just roll with it.
And considering we only have 4 seconds coming.
No, the cupboard ain't plush for the next 5 years. So you know that's just the reality, right? That's the reality of a lot of the moves Rob has made over the years. He's thrown draft picks at a lot of moves to get them done, and they haven't panned out. And they haven't panned out in the way that the player hasn't even stayed for the most part. And that's one of the big problems.
And it's because he didn't do the second half of the job, which is once he got those key players, Anthony Davis, for example, he didn't fill out the roster. And then when he got a championship formula,
he blew it up.
He threw it away, man.
Nope, I know. We can go over that for the 8 million.
You know, and then not only that,
this makes me sad. I don't want
to give up that championship lineup. You give up that championship roster without improving it, and then you throw everything away for Westbrook. And that's why we're where we are now. You know,
you may or may not remember this. I remember this. I remember when you were writing the Rob Pelinka Masterclass GM articles, and I was like, I don't know about that. I don't see that in him at all.
Well, he did a great job. He did a great job.
Cleaning up his own mess. He did a great job cleaning up his own mess. That is the level of praise I have for him right there. Like, oh, you blew it, and then you got out of it to an equal degree.
Right. Well, he got out of it to an equal degree, but by the same token, because of the injuries and the coaching decisions that he made. That result didn't come out to be what we wanted, and we started to see some of the blemishes and the dimensionality of some of those players that we thought were really answers.
I agree.
Well, you know what? I think that he still could win with this group. Let's look at
good health.
Let's look at the continuity issue.
Well,
that's a big thing. And we've got guys that are good in their roles, and they can improve a little bit. So I'm just curious. I want to see how this group works. I really do.
I do. I actually do too. I mean, it's really hard for me I just don't want to see a bad trade. I don't want to see a bad D'Lo trade. I think that's the biggest worry that I have.
I think that the Lakers are functioning in very much the same manner as the Warriors are, in that if there's a trade they have a hard time saying no to, or that they feel is very fair, that's the only kind of trade you're going to see them make. You're not going to see them overpay the way they overpay.
They're not going to make a big trade. They're not going
to overpay like the
Knicks, five first round picks for a non all-star.
We literally can't. Like we don't have the ability to overpay even if we wanted to, unless you include all of our picks and swaps and just that's it. And then after that, you're done until 2031. Like that's it. Like you have no moves that you
trade.
If
you trade
the deal comes along,
he'll
trade
trade
one of the 2033.
You know, I had another idea on this before we go. I know it's you know, how talking about how valuable the Lakers 2 draft picks are but I started thinking about that. You know who's on the roster in 2027? Laker roster, who's signed right now?
AD.
AD and Vando.
That's it.
That's it. So are these other GMs? Are these other GMs looking at
Connect and Christie?
No. Connected's gone. Both are gone in 2026.
By 2027, there's only 2 guys on the roster.
Yeah.
Well, you
have these other GMs looking. You have GMs looking at.
They signed to a 2-year deal.
Huh?
Connect signed a 2-year deal.
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, 3 years with a player option, team option.
That's 4 years.
No, 2 years and a team option.
The third year is the option year.
Yeah, team option.
Well, you know, they're not going to let him go at the team option.
No, but Tom, here's the point. Other GMs are looking at that going, who are they going to fill that roster with?
Right.
You know, are they going to be bad? And guess who has a player option in 2027?
But we have
Luka.
Good news for Danny.
Oh, Luka?
Luka has a player option in 2027, and LeBron James a couple of years ago guaranteed that Luka was going to be a Laker someday.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
So I mean, that's what yeah, those picks could be valuable, but that's another things that these teams are considering. You know, when they're looking at those picks.
I want Luka to be a Laker so bad. I'd be so happy about that. I love Luka. Luka's back.
So anyway, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting to how they're going to they're going to have more guys on the roster in 2027 than now. But there's still, I mean, the salary cap's going to be like 40% higher by then as well.
that's the case. But I mean, the thing I was trying to say is, like, if you trade all your picks and pick swaps, once you've done that if you do that this summer for whatever, let's say they go all in for whoever, right?
There's nobody out there left who's worth all of our picks. And
I would have said that. I actually think I kind of felt that way at the beginning of the summer. I thought that.
Well, I would have done it for Laurie. That's about the only one.
He's the only one I questioned, and I'll tell you why I wasn't 100%, and that's because he really has only had one really good season. That's it.
Well, he's also got some injury issues in the past too.
That's my point. He's only had one really good season. Right. He made the All-Star team.
Yeah, but he's the kind of guy you go all in for. I mean, I wouldn't have given all my picks away for somebody else. There's nobody.
No, certainly not Trae Young. Certainly not Zach LaVine. None of those guys. Laurie was the only
Zach
one.
LaVine's got to give us picks.
That's not. Good luck with that. I know somehow in your mind you've created this world where that's going to happen. I don't.
No, they were offering 2 seconds.
that's not anything anybody's interested in. That's just not it.
Levine's going to be with them for at least a couple more years.
Yeah. Now you know who might get traded this
Well, it
season?
might change as Michael said. We're going up 10% every year now.
Yeah, but that's still a big number to get around. It's a big number to get around. You know who might finally get traded this year is Ben Simmons, and I'll bet he gets traded more than once. That's my prediction. Ben Simmons gets traded at least twice this season. How about that, Tom? There's a prediction for you. Ben Simmons, and not to the Lakers.
The problem is his salary is so big that it's just going to.
But it's expiring. It's an expiring deal. So if somebody doesn't like the team they built, I'm looking at you, Atlanta. If somebody wants to just nuke their team, that's the guy you trade
$40 million expiring contract.
That's right. That's how you do it. That's exactly what Washington did with Russ. That's how you do it. You do it that way, and it's like ripping the Band-Aid off, and then you're done. You're done. That's what I'm saying. He might get traded twice this season. It's going to be interesting to see that happen. I'd like to thank my guests, Michael H. and Laker Tom, all of the people in the chat. Joe Soros, thanks for popping on from Sinblades. As always, Joe Glassford for organizing all this and enabling all of us to blather on like we do with our notions and opinions and whatnot. And all the extended Lakerholics family. Everybody have a great weekend. Go Team USA. Enjoy the basketball game, everybody, and we'll see you next weekend.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
aloha.
Aloha.